This week on Run, Jump, Stomp, we'll talk about Zelda, YouTube getting into the Twitch streaming zone, Mario Party 10 for just a little bit, plus the Longplay, Wishlisted, and more. Thanks for listening to Run, Jump, Stomp. I'm Bill. It is March 31st, 2015. Zelda for Wii U is delayed. It was supposed to come out in December this year. I think it was December, I'm not sure. But it was supposed to come out this year. And now it is no longer going to make a 2015 release. Anuma posted on YouTube and said, "As I've watched our development progress, I have come to think that rather than work with meeting a specific schedule as our main objective and releasing a game that reflects only what we can create within that scheduled time, I feel strongly that our focus should be to bring all these ideas to life in a way that will make The Legend of Zelda on Wii U the best game it can possibly be." And the ideas that he's talking about, he says that the designers discovered several new possibilities during the development that will allow them to create something that exceeds even his own expectations. Honestly, it seems like a bunch of PR. They're trying to spin the fact that they can't get the game done on time. I'm fine with a delay. A lot of people are probably going to be upset that it was delayed. I would very much prefer to get a good game later than a bad game now. So, there's that. We ought to keep in mind, though, Ocarina of Time was also, it's widely regarded as one of the best games of all time. And it was supposed to be a launch title for the Nintendo 64. And it ended up coming out in 1998. This 2 full years after it came out in Japan. The Nintendo 64 came out in Japan and America. So, a delay is a good thing when it's done for the right reasons. Now, if we look at the Wii U lineup for this year, at the end of the year, it's looking pretty light unless they're going to bring out something else that they have yet to announce. Maybe Star Fox can save the end of the year for them, but I'm not sure. This is coming right after they announced the NX. Some people are going to say, "Oh, they're delaying Zelda to release it with the NX." And I don't think that's true, because the NX I don't think we're going to see until 2017 at the earliest. And herein lies the problem with announcing your games before they're ready. They probably announced Zelda as a PR move, not saying that they weren't working on it. They're not trying to make the best game that they can, but they announced it as a PR move to drum up interest in the Wii U, when they shouldn't have announced it yet. They should wait until it's just about ready before they say anything. Then they say it, even if it's already done, and they're just holding on to it so that they can do some PR stuff. Nobody's going to know if they just hold on to it for a little while and don't announce it over a year before it's going to come out. There's no need for that. All it's going to do is overhype the game and then let people down. I think you hold on to it for a long time, or maybe not a long time, but you hold on to the announcement for a long time, maybe 6 months before the game is going to come out, and you have to know when it's going to come out. So, 6 months before, you make the announcement of the game. And then every month, you give out a few more details. 3 months out, you announce the launch date. Give a few more details, maybe a demo the month before, and then drop it. This announcing a game a year ahead of time is a big mistake, and too many publishers do it. And right now, we're looking at how doing this has bit Nintendo right in the butt. An article on The Verge says that YouTube is looking into getting into the game streaming service, not just game recording service. Last year, there were reports that YouTube was going to try and acquire Twitch, but it ended up getting bought by Amazon. CEO of Amazon, Jeff Bezos, said that broadcasting and watching gameplay is a global phenomenon. He's right. Apparently more people watched the League of Legends Championship than the World Series this year. It's kind of crazy. If YouTube gets into it, I'm pretty happy about that. I wanted YouTube to buy Twitch because I like using Google's stuff. Their stuff usually seems to work really well. Twitch is a little difficult to use unless you pay for the right software or really get in there and tweak your settings exactly right. If Google gets into this and makes YouTube a place where you can easily stream games, then my guess is that it will be one-click download. You click a button, it sets everything up for you, and then starts broadcasting. And right now you can do that on Twitch, but then you have to pay for things like XSplit. XSplit is great and it works free, but if you want the best features, you have to pay for them. Google wants you to watch the shows on YouTube and see those advertisements, so they're going to give you free ways of broadcasting it, and that's going to make it easier for people to game. Not only that, but another reason why I'm happy about this is because YouTube is where a lot of people go, and I would say that a lot more people know about YouTube than know about Twitch. If you ask the average person, they're probably not even going to know what Twitch is. So this would bring gaming as an entertainment form to more people. More people would be exposed to the things that we see when they click on the live button on YouTube, and they can see that there's thousands of people playing games. That's going to be really interesting, and I hope that they do something. Now, that being said, Steam has their Steam broadcast feature, which is really awesome. But right now, it doesn't work very well. I mean, it works very well. I didn't say that right. It works really, really well. You click a button, and if somebody decides to start watching you, then you start broadcasting. So you're not broadcasting unless somebody clicks to watch. The problem is on Twitch, if I like somebody who broadcasts, then when they start broadcasting, it's going to send an announcement to me, like in my email, or it comes to my phone, and it says, hey, so-and-so is broadcasting on Twitch. Do you want to watch? And I slide the little thing to the right, and it brings it up, and I can watch it. On Steam, it seems a little half-baked because nobody knows that I'm streaming. It doesn't put out an announcement anywhere, and like following people is difficult. It's not an easy thing. So if I go into Steam and I go into the community and I'll look at Pillars of Eternity, and then there's a button up there that says Broadcasts. So now I'm 3 clicks in so far, and I can see that there's people playing Pillars of Eternity. And right now, the top one has 4 viewers. All right, if we do the same thing on Twitch, and I go to Twitch and I look for Pillars of Eternity, it should take us just a second to load, and I'll type it in, Pillars of Eternity. All right, the top view is 229 people watching. On Steam, there were only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It looks like there's... Okay, as I scroll down, there's lots and lots of people playing it, but there are a total of 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 viewers. There are a total of 8 people watching somebody play Pillars of Eternity on Steam right now. On Twitch right now, there are the top channel has 229. Well, that's just the top channel. If I like the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, the 10th top channel on Twitch has more people watching than all of Steam people put together. So that's a problem. And the reason is because when somebody's watching a game that you like, you can follow not just a streamer, but you can also follow a game. And so if somebody is watching that, and I go to Twitch and I click on the browse games section, it's going to, or no, I click on the following section. Underneath, it's going to show that if I'm following, I guess I wasn't following. All right, let me follow Pillars of Eternity. Then if I go to see what is currently being streamed on Twitch, I can see that there's 461 viewers watching something on Pillars of Eternity. That's a big deal. And the reasons there's so many people watching is because they know that somebody's streaming. On Steam, there's no notification, so nobody knows that you're streaming. That means nobody's going to watch. Hopefully, Google gets this figured out and maybe finds a happy medium between the two. Last week I said that I would get a more in-depth, not review, but I guess analysis, or more in-depth thoughts would be a better idea, of the new Mario Party. I honestly don't really think that's necessary. I've played it a bit more. My son and I sat down yesterday and played Bowser Party again. Actually, he had already played Bowser Party. I had not played Bowser Party yet. If you don't remember, there's 3 sections. There's Amiibo Party, Bowser Party, and then Mario Party. Mario Party is the same as it always is. Bowser Party is pretty much the same, but instead of just trying to get to the end and get the most stars or whatever, basically it pits Bowser against a team of 4, and everybody in the team of 4 gets to roll a die, and they move so far, and then Bowser gets to roll a bunch of dice, and if he catches them, then there's a Bowser minigame. It's fun. It's not groundbreaking. There's nothing really new there. It's a good game. I don't know if it's worth $40 or $50. I think I paid. Yeah, I don't know if it's worth $50, but it's fun enough. If you like Mario Party, pick it up. If you don't like Mario Party, there's absolutely no reason for you to even look at it. Mario Party 10 for the Wii U is a good game. It's just not great. This isn't really news. It's just a helpful hint or a good tip. Ghostbusters, the video game. I had it on the Xbox 360. It's a fantastic game. It's really, really good. I don't know how they did it, but they managed to get... they managed to get that feeling that you imagine the characters in the movie had when they are fighting with the ghosts to try and trap them. For those of you that don't know, Ghostbusters, the video game, is a first-person shooter where you work for the Ghostbusters. It takes place after Ghostbusters 2 and is essentially a Ghostbusters 3 video game. You are the new recruit. You are working for the guys, and I think everybody came back to voice their characters except Bill Murray. I'm not sure. I don't think Bill Murray was in it. Oh no, I was wrong. I'm looking at it on Steam right now. Bill Murray, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, and Ernie Hudson, all of them came back to voice their characters in the game. It's hilarious and well worth the current sale price of $2.99 on Steam. It's a great game. I highly recommend it. I almost want to buy it again because it's so cheap, just so that I can have it in my Steam library rather than on my Xbox 360, which is kind of making funny noises now. I think it's on its way out. But definitely pick up Ghostbusters, the video game, and hopefully you would enjoy it as much as I do. Not really news so much as an alert. Today, if you're listening to this today, March 31st, today is the last day that you can earn coins on Club Nintendo. So if you've got some codes laying around, put them in. I picked up Pillars of Eternity yesterday. I have not played it a lot. I really enjoy the game. I'm not going to get into an actual review until next week. It'll probably be the long play for next week. But there is a bit of news for Pillars of Eternity this week, and that the news is that it has a serious bug. Apparently, and I just read about this morning, if you double click on an item in your inventory so let's say I have a sword in my inventory and my character is holding a sword. If I double click on the sword in my inventory to equip it, then it erases all of my character's racial passives. So like my character's a dwarf, so he's has a higher defense against poison and disease. Typical stuff. If I double click the item in my inventory and I already have an item that my character is holding, it erases that dwarf only defense versus disease stat. It's gone, and it's gone permanently unless you reload the game. If you drag the item from your inventory over to your character and it switches them, then it doesn't actually cause any problems. But I just thought that if you are playing this game, you might want to know about that. Rumor has it that there's a patch coming out next week, and hopefully that patch will address this pretty massive bug. Either way, it's definitely a good game. I'll talk more about it next week in the long play. Okay, time for the long play. This week, the long play is kind of a surprise to me. I've never played a MOBA. League of Legends came out, I kind of looked at it, didn't really get it. Dota 2 came out, I looked at it, it never really clicked with me. In fact, I played the mod Dota 1 on Warcraft 3. A friend of mine was playing it a lot, and he was loving the game. I tried it, and it was just impenetrable for me. I did not understand what was happening. Well, I don't know why, but I decided to try out Heroes of the Storm this week. I mean, it's a free game, as all these other MOBAs are, but I decided to give it a shot. I don't know why, because I haven't liked any MOBA yet. This one I like. I like this one a lot. I'm having an absolute blast playing this game. The games are short. You know, you sit down and you can play for 20 minutes and then you'll be done. Usually, I think the longest match that I was in went for 30 minutes. But usually it's over in 20 minutes or less. And I'm really having a fun time with it. For those of you that play it, I've been playing mostly Uther. I think he is awesome. But then I picked up Lily, and she's another support hero. And she's also really, really fantastic. If you have not played a MOBA, I suggest you start with this one. some would say it's like a dumbed down version. I think that it's a refined version of the genre. There's a lot less stuff there, but it still has all of the complexity that is required to make it a very, very good game. I've been told that oftentimes both Dota 2 and League of Legends, a match in that could last a very, very long time. In Heroes of the Storm, they're much, much shorter matches, so that means you're in and out. There's no currency that you have to worry about, because in the other games you have to buy things. So you're playing the game. During the match, you're picking up gold, and then you go and you buy something with the gold to use right then and there. In this, there's none of that, because they've taken earning gold for your character out of the actual gameplay part of it. And what you do instead is you level up. Now, you also level up in the other ones, but what you do instead here is, as you level up, you get to pick which talents you're going to use, and they affect how your character plays. So from one match to the next, the character that you're playing could play differently. You can choose which talents to pick as you need them. So maybe man, the other team has a lot of burst, and they're killing you fast. So you know that you want to grab that block talent if you can. That way you'll live longer. That means that you also have to make a choice. That means that you're going to have to give up some other talent that makes you maybe less survivable, but able to do more damage, that kind of thing. Heroes of the Storm is definitely a good game. Highly recommend it. As you're also, another reason to get in on this one is because it's still in beta. If you can get a key, definitely get one. The pool of players is smaller, and MOBAs are infamous for having very toxic communities. I don't know if that's necessarily a fair thing. I mean, first-person shooters have toxic communities too. I'm not going to lay it at the fault of the game. It's the fault of the player. So if you're playing any game, you're always going to be exposed to some level of toxicity, because some people are just morons. When you play Heroes of the Storm, you can easily block people's communication, so you can't hear them anymore. And there's I don't know, I haven't played the others enough to know if this is the case or not, but it makes it you can easily issue communication through the minimap by holding Alt and then dragging your mouse. It allows you to say, I'm on my way, or I need help here, or we need to go after this thing, so that you can still communicate with the people you're playing with without having them put their spin on it, like without them saying the horrible things that they're likely to say. This is very reminiscent of Hearthstone, where you cannot talk to your opponent at all. And in fact, you cannot talk to the opponents in Heroes of the Storm either, except at the end if you type GG, that gets sent through to the other side. So definitely check out Heroes of the Storm. I put a bunch of time into it this week, and it's really, really good. My plan was to have Pillars of Eternity be on my Wishlisted segment, so that's what I'm going to do, even though I already technically bought it. I bought it yesterday, I just couldn't wait. It's on Steam, and I think it's also on Green Man Gaming and Good Old Games. There are various prices that you can pay for it. You can pay the Hero Edition, which is the one that I picked up, was $45. And then there is like Championship Edition, Royal Edition, and those basically same game, but they come with like it's basically like the collector's box where you can go and you get like, instead of getting a figure because you're buying it digitally, you would get like a digital book that has all of the art assets in it, and like maybe a behind-the-scenes video of how to play the game, which is interesting. But that's not usually something that I want to spend my extra money on. It's a top-down view, and a game like this has not come out in a very, very long time. Think back to Baldur's Gate or Icewind Dale or Neverwinter Nights 1. A top-down view, Dungeons and Dragons style game. It's fantastic. Highly recommended. There are some bugs, as I mentioned earlier in the show, but I'm sure that those will be fixed. On Steam, they say, prepare to be enchanted by a world where the choices you make and the paths you choose shape your destiny. Obsidian Entertainment, the developer of Fallout New Vegas and South Park The Stick of Truth. They've made some really, really good games, too. Not that those aren't good games, but they aren't games that would remind me of this one. So, they're probably their newest hits, but Obsidian Entertainment has always kind of been synonymous with this kind of game. Back to their quotes. It says, recapture the deep sense of exploration, the joy of pulsating adventure. Pulsating? And the thrill of leading your own band of companions across a new fantasy realm and into the depths of monster-infested dungeons in search of lost treasures and ancient mysteries. So gather your party, venture forth. They actually do say that in the game. Those of you who have played games like this before know that that's awesome. And embrace adventure as you delve into a realm of wonder, nostalgia, and excitement of classic RPGs with Obsidian's Pillars of Eternity. So basically, you've got a top-down view. You pause combat with the spacebar. You assign orders to all of the people in your group. You press spacebar. They start to move and do the things that you ordered them to. As you see the battle play out, you pause it again and reissue new orders. It's definitely something that should be on your wish list if it's not already. I don't put a lot of stock into Metacritic. There's nothing wrong with Metacritic, but right now this has a 92 out of 100. That's pretty good. So if I hadn't bought it yesterday, it would definitely be on my wish list today. So that's wish listed for this week. Want to be part of the conversation? Make sure that you email me, runjumpstomp@gmail.com. You can always get a hold of me on Twitter, @runjumpstomp. You can also find me on YouTube, runjumpstomp, as you might have guessed it. And you can also find me on Twitch @Arkitan. That's ARKITAN. I know that's different than all the others, but you can't change your name on Twitch, unfortunately, and I don't feel like starting over. The music this week was Something Something Night by Rock OW. It's very, very cool. Definitely check out the link in the show notes if you want to check that out, as well as links in the show notes to all of the stories that I talked about today. Thank you very much for listening to Run, Jump, Stomp. We'll talk to you next week.